Hi everybody, welcome back to Sweetwater Place. I'm Kat and I'm so glad that you're here. I know I've been away for a very long time and I apologize for that. Life got a little hectic and I had to take a step back. And then since then, I have been trying to get my other YouTube channel up and running as well. I had been away from it for so long that YouTube demonetized me. So I'm trying to get that one up and running. But I really love this channel and I want to get this one up and running again as well. So I wanted to give you an update because I know that I have some new friends here that probably found me from the hysterectomy series. And so I want to welcome you if you found me then, and I hope you decide to stay. But I think that I need to give an update as far as how I'm doing still after the hysterectomy, because I had it, radical hysterectomy, back in 2023, October. It was Friday the 13th. I remember that. It's just over a year or so since I've had it. And I thought, I'm doing very well right now, but I wanted to answer some questions that I wrote down, thinking that maybe these are questions that somebody would ask me if they were just about to go into it. And I haven't covered that on my series of other videos. And these might be questions that they might have for where I'm at now. So anyway, if that makes sense. Number one is how long until I feel normal again? And I want to say it was probably about somewhere between 4 to 6 months before I started really feeling normal again. What I mean by that is, all of the little aches and pains that you're feeling in the area affected, or, the swelling, moving too much, lifting, things like that, where you swell up and then you feel like you have to pull back. Okay, it's still not normal. I'm talking about, that kind of thing where that stops happening so much. I could not plant my garden or anything like that in the spring when I had the hysterectomy. Now it was the hysterectomy by laparoscopic means using the Da Vinci method. So it was probably the type of hysterectomy that what they say is the easiest to get over if you're going to have it. But now I had some other things going on because I had a lot of kind of damage that was going on from I had not just fibroids. I had fibroids, but I had also had endometriosis, and there was endometrial damage on the outside of the uterus in the area. So it was, I knew it was going to take a little bit to feel normal again. But I want to say, 4 to 6 months isn't bad. So I had it in October, and I could not get my planting done in time for like March or so. I just wasn't strong enough yet. And by the time I did get some tomatoes in the ground, I think it was about May, and I could barely get it in. So I wanted to get them in the ground. And I remember it was just so sore still, and bending over was still really hard, but I was still trying to do it. And at this point, I was walking on the treadmill. I walk barefoot on the treadmill, which really helped me with my balance during this time. And so I was walking on a flat treadmill, and I would go as long as I could. And I started around 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'd build up to 20 minutes. And then eventually I built up to half an hour. But what I'd try to do was I'd try to at least walk, at a moderate speed for about a half an hour, or, until I felt like things were just swelling up. And my body was saying, all right, Kat, you pushed a little too much, get off of here and go rest. And I would just keep doing that. And it felt like I'm never, ever, ever going to get my stamina back, and I'm never going to be able to be normal again. And you will. I mean, I don't know about you, but I did. So everybody's different. Again, I don't know what shape you're in or, what's going on, but I thought it wasn't going to happen, and for me it did eventually. So about 6 months or so, I felt a lot better, and then I started thinking, okay, I need to start adding some strength training exercises. And I started off slow, but I was real steady at it. And what it did was, it wasn't too heavy. I wasn't lifting very, very heavy. In fact, I've really stayed away from lifting too heavy, like a bar on my back, and trying to squat with it, because I really was being concerned about maybe prolapse or something like that, and I didn't want to have problems. So I was really starting out at a very, very moderate amount of weight. And so I think adding the strength training in regularly, though, about 2 to 3 times a week, really helped me to build up my strength as well as my stamina, and I kept on going on the treadmill. One thing that I did different on the treadmill was instead of walking flat, I started to incline, and I started at like maybe a 2, 1.5, then I went to 2, then I went to 3, and right now I'm pretty comfortable anywhere between a 5 and a 7. So when I walk at a moderate pace, and I walk at an incline, and just that bit of adding in an incline really helped to build up my strength and stamina in my fitness level, and it really changed things, and I felt like I got stronger very quickly doing that. So I would say, to answer the question, 4 to 6 months for me to start feeling a lot more normal again physically. Now, another question I thought that maybe somebody might want to know is, well, I just answered it. How soon do you exercise, get back to your exercising? And that depends on each individual person. But for me, it was about, I told you, about 6 months or so, 4 to 6 months slow. And then from there, I just kind of took off at about 6 months. Now, another question somebody might have is weight gain. Did you see any significant weight gain after your hysterectomy? Since so much time has gone by, I can kind of look at it and tell you, trust me. Yes, I did. I have had about 9, so it's just under 10 pounds that I'm really, really trying to get off. And I just went down 3 pounds about a week ago, this last week, so that was good. But, during the holidays, it's not really like the time to lose weight. It's really hard to lose weight during that time. So now I am actively trying. But it has been a very, very stubborn 10 pounds. And I cannot say, oh, it's because, I was eating more and moving less. I wasn't eating more. I was definitely moving less for a portion, the first part of last year after the surgery. So did that have anything to do with it? I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe, even though I've been on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy for many years, even before my surgery, because I have been through menopause. Now I spoke to my doctor, my hormone doctor, and she said, well, you shouldn't really see a blip in your hormones because you've already been on this and we're just going to keep you going. So you should be fine. Now, in everything that I have kind of researched and read about and, looked into online, it seems like, they always tell you, well, if you're in menopause, your ovaries aren't really doing anything. You don't really need them anymore. But then there's different sources that say, no, they still eke out a very small amount of estrogen, and it really helps. I don't know, but what I'm going to say is I didn't really change my eating ways before and after the surgery. And yet here I am, I've gained just about 10 pounds. So I kind of tend to think that there might be something that has to do with the hormones, that you're no longer eking anything out of those ovaries or anything. And my ovaries were not in good shape, but I think that they still were functioning somehow. When they took them out, they were just really, I covered this in one of my other videos, but they were just really gnarly looking, and they had all kinds of things going on. So they were supposed to come out, but yet still, I don't know. There was some weight gain. It wasn't a tremendous amount, but it was enough for me to be aware that, you know what I mean? When I look in the mirror, I do see those pounds. I'm a small 5'3" frame. So an extra, almost 10 pounds, it does tend to add a lot more, just another element, another dimension for me, another layer that I wish that I didn't have. So I'm working on that now. I do have faith that I will be able to bring it down again, though. Okay, and then the last question I thought maybe somebody might be interested in is, are you glad that you did it overall? And I would have to say yes. I am very glad I did it. I wish that maybe I had done it sooner. This is just my own experience for myself and everything that I'd been through, because I was really going through a lot of pain because of the endometriosis and stuff beforehand, and all the damage that had caused. There was a lot of scar tissue in there, and it was very painful. And I had issues with my bladder because of the really big fibroid tumors and stuff. So I'm really glad that I did do it. I feel like this is what normal people feel like when they're normally not going through all of that pain that I had. And to me, it's amazing to feel this way. I've never felt the loss of, the absence of the pain that I had. So I'm extremely grateful for it, but I think it happened at the right time for me to find the right doctor to do it, and so I'm grateful for the way that it happened exactly. As far as hormones go, I am continuing to do bioidentical hormone therapy, and what I do is I see my hormone doctor about every 3 months, and I am using the pellet method. So she inserts implants a pellet in my upper hip here once every 3 months or so, and they have, well, there's a couple of pellets really, whatever she needs to put in, whether that's estrogen, some testosterone, or whatever it is that by my blood work it looks like I am missing. She puts that in there, puts that in me, and then it gets absorbed through the body little by little over the next 3 months, and I feel good as new. I feel amazing. There's never any hot flashes. I don't have to take a nap in the afternoon or anything like that. I feel completely normal. My moods and everything is just fine and rosy and dandy, and I love it. So doing great, and it is over a year later, and I'm doing awesome. So if you have any questions about the hysterectomy or anything that I can be of help with, it is coming from only my standpoint and my experience, but I am very glad to share it with anybody who asks. So, all right. Welcome. If you're new, I hope you decide to stay, and I will see you all in the next video.